Hi everybody, Mature Simmer here. So, welcome back to Mods Worth Noting. Assuming there might be things to talk about, at least shortly, now that Farming Simulator 25 is out. So let me first get the official notice out so that nobody is surprised. I have not purchased Farming Simulator 25. Just because I'm frankly not seeing any reason to do so at this point. All the mods are gone. As we all know, this is the Giants model, and so therefore the game has been reset to where it probably was every time they've done it before. So I don't know, are we back to Farming Simulator 15? Farming Simulator 12 before that, if that existed? I know there was a 15, but so in any event, I have not fallen in love with Farming Simulator again, which is one of the things I've said over and over, which is Giants forces us to fall in love with it every 3 years again, instead of finding a way to let the mods continue without changing things all the time for really nothing. So I've looked at gameplay, really saw nothing that was different. Certainly nothing that couldn't have been done with a mod. We could have added goats and water buffalo and other animals in. We could have added additional crops in. At this point, I would say, yes, GPS is improved, but that's like saying that your child is more intelligent when in FS25 and before they were in preschool, and now it's 3 years later and they're in second grade and they've kind of just learned how to add. So there was certainly really nothing they could have done but improve it. It has improved, and it's a bit better than that. I've seen Farm Sim Guy do a video about as he plows and customizes it. It does adjust right away and so forth. But I've also watched some friends play and seen you can't turn off headlands. So if you've got square fields like I have in Farmers Only Club, you're forced to do a headland if you're going to throw a helper on there, which, you know, is not the end of the world, I suppose, but it still doesn't allow you the freedom that course play does. I'd be waiting for course play to come back. So that is where I sit at this point. I would need at least basic mods, and honestly, I really would need VIP Order Manager to reappear. So if that does not, that makes it a really, really tough sell for me to not just keep playing Farming Simulator 2022 in single player and keep using the VIP Order Manager, which I love, and go from there. So this is what we have, one page. Majority of which is Giants software, which makes sense. We've got simple mods that have returned, like government subsidy, which simply just gives you free money every day, and adjusting the productions. And this is probably the most. These are probably the most detailed. Although we do have the Jaguar, and I saw the Agco. Now the Agco's still theirs, but the truck is a modder. So if nothing else, we can learn, which modders are still alive in the community and are still doing things. So Farming Agency, which has provided some good mods in the past, is still around, so that's good. So whatever they were responsible for, and they have these two here. They'll be back. Other than that, I think Olaf TNT I've seen before. So this just lets you paint straight edges and lay things down straight. So again, simple mods have started to show up in the first few days. So I will be doing the mods worth noting. I will take a peek because I'm really monitoring it for myself as much as I am for you at this point of, do I ever get to the point where I feel it's worth giving Giants $50 for, like it or not, what I'm going to call a reskin. Sure, it looks prettier. It sounds a little better, maybe. I never really, I've never been on a farm. I couldn't tell you that a John Deere sounds different than a Massey Ferguson. I'm sure they do. Just like a if a Dodge Charger sounds different than a Toyota Prius. That's never been why I play the game. I play the game because of gameplay, and I've seen really no difference in gameplay. And I've seen some modders do things like on contracts where, in their opinion, things have gotten worse. They've lost the ability to do things they were able to do and so forth. And that's unfortunately kind of what we've seen when we went to FS22 from FS19 and they incorporated seasons into the game. I think that was a net loss. There were things that seasons gave us in the mod in FS19 that never returned in FS22. So, crop rotation being the main one. Well, I guess that was precision farming, but that's just another example. Regardless of which mod it was in, like those things never made a comeback, and that's my concern. Is we've lost things from FS19 to FS22. There's no reason to assume we're not going to lose more mods that we've loved into FS25 because modders have stopped playing the game, or frankly may have just felt like me, like I'm just sick of spending my time, my life energy rebuilding government subsidies so that I can put a sign back on my farm. I get that's a bad example because obviously Realismus Modding went ahead and did that, but once again, as we said, it's likely a relatively simple script that simply, when the clock changes each day, add X amount of money based on whichever of the 4 settings you pick. No mods worth noting from my opinion, and I'm not just going to provide, hey, it's these things. If I see productions, if I see other things that come up that truly appear interesting, but as I said, I am looking as much for me as I am simply sharing with you at this point to see if and when I ever pull the trigger and actually jump back into Farming Simulator 25. My intent is likely going to be, if I've thought a bit over the last 3 or 4 days of what I'm going to do, and I am probably going to focus more of my time on my VIP Order Manager series. So I'm going to finally get that next episode of Hills of Tuscany done and out. I'm close. I had worked another couple hours a few weeks back to try to get to the point where I could do it, and I'm still like, I really want to finish a couple more things, and then I can go ahead and put out an episode, but then I'll go ahead and do that. But on Farmers Only Club right now, I'm probably going to do what I said in the short video that hasn't come out yet, but what you'll see is I'm going to keep from losing money there, but until I really determine if I'm going forward with FS25, I'm going to water my greenhouses so that I don't lose money. But right now, I'm waiting for Flight Simulator 2024 to drop in 3 or 4 days. And depending on how much of my life that consumes, and I'm still assuming it's going to be all that I allow it to, then that will determine if I start poking at Farmers Only Club again and continue moving that along, because it's just this melancholy type of feeling. I feel they've pulled the rug out from me. I was perfectly happy and really enjoying FS22 just as I was enjoying FS19. I don't see a reason for the game, and this time I'm voting with my wallet and telling Giants, you're not getting my money. So that's where I sit right now. As always, certainly drop any comments. I know this has been more of a commentary video than a mods worth noting video right now. I will, other than maybe commenting just to be transparent, because I don't want people thinking, oh, I'm actively playing the game, I'm just not putting any FS25 videos out there. I may just comment like I'm looking at the mods, I'm trying to see if anything interesting comes out, and then just go back to the regular format where I show you the mods that I feel are worth noting, and we wrap it up for the week. So this will be the only commentary as we start back up here. But let me know what your thoughts are. I know on my last FOC video there were definitely many people who came back on and said, I feel the same way, or one or two that had bought it and were like, yeah, I played it for a few hours and it literally has not grabbed me at all. So there, as I said, there's nothing I've seen. I mean, even the friends that I've watched and that have done it, It's the same thing. I kind of tongue-in-cheek asked the question, is that everything you wanted and more? And their response was, not really, but it's still fun. It looks better. It has better sounds. That was the response I got. For me, that's not worth $50. For them, clearly it was. And everybody can make up their own opinion and decide how to spend their own money. I'm going to go ahead and sign off, but as always, if you've enjoyed this, haven't dropped a like, or are not a subscriber, please go ahead and consider those things. My intent is not to have Farming Simulator vanish from this channel, but it's going to continue to be a bit of a smaller piece as it has been for a little while, just because of where it sits in my likes and dislikes at this point. And I will see you next time.